Hello, this is another example of the cosine rule where we have to find an angle. But I want to also show you in the beginning, how are you going to decide whether you're going to use the cosine or the sine rule? Okay, so let's read what is given. They say in triangle FGH, we've got FG, which is 9, GH, which is 11, and FH, which is 3, and you must find angle G. All right. So first thing you do, you are going to identify your sides. This is lying opposite F, so that is becoming side F. This is opposite G, and this is opposite H. Now you have identified. Then remember, I told you to circle your given information. And if the given information gives you a y, then we know it is triple S. And from triple S, people, you must remember that that is the cosine rule. Okay, so in any exam paper or in a test paper or whatever, you would have to do that as step 1, deciding whether you're going to use the sine rule or whether you're going to use the cosine rule. And that is depending from what information is given. If you can't remember that, please watch the video on comparing the sine and the cosine rule. Okay, now we first have to look at what is our question mark, what is being asked, and angle G is being asked. So we have to find cos G. Okay, we have to find cos G. All right. Then remember the cosine rule starts with the two sides that make up angle G. So that is h squared plus f squared. And then we subtract the third side squared, minus g squared. And that we divide by 2hf, 2hf. So again, people, here, write the formula in step 2. We write the version of the formula, okay? And that you just simply have to practice. Thereafter, it is really quite easy. In the next step, you simply substitute your values. Okay, so instead of h, we're going to write 9. Instead of f, we're going to write 11. Instead of g, we're going to write 5. And the same at the bottom. Then you put this into your calculator. This you may put in 2 steps. Do your numerator and then divide by the denominator if you want to. And that gives you the cos of g, which is 0.8939 and so forth. And then remember, to find angle G, we use the second function or shift of cos with your answer, and that gives you 26.6 degrees. All right. So I repeat, you first have to decide whether you use the sine or cosine rule. In this case, it is easy because it is still given as the cosine rule. Then you have to write the version of that cosine formula or the cosine rule. Then you substitute your values, then you calculate, and don't forget to get the angle. We always use the shift key. All right, just lastly, if you look at the cosine function in the cast diagram, then the cosine function is positive in the first and in the fourth quadrant. But remember, people, the fourth quadrant is between 270 and 360 degrees, okay? And a triangle sum is only 180. So we will never ever use the cosine rule for the fourth quadrant because it will just simply be more than 180. Okay, so take note that for the cosine rule, you only have one solution, and that will always be in the first quadrant.